cviper is Street Fighter 6's hardest character to play, and doing all of her crazy stuff while your opponent is actively trying to kick you in the head doesn't make it any easier. In this video, I'm going to show you how to play cviper without all that hard stuff. Saludos mi gente, my name is Dream King, and today we are going to learn us some cviper. So I've been playing cviper in ranked mode for the last couple of days now, and while I was able to get her to master rank, I found that my biggest struggle above all else was the fact that I was focusing way too much on trying to hit all the hard stuff. You know, the thunder knuckle feints and the super jump cancels, all that crazy stuff you see in the combo videos. But I realized that constantly trying to set up her higher level techniques often led to either botched inputs, or my mental stack being so focused on the execution that I couldn't counter basic fighting game techniques and was racking up losses where I shouldn't have been. Now I want to be clear.
Now let me be clear.
In order to play cviper effectively on a competitive level, you need to be competent at using her higher level abilities. However, trying to use that stuff before building the foundation and getting comfortable just navigating her around through battle is a recipe for disaster. So if you're in the process of learning cviper like I am and feel as though you've been struggling, then this tutorial might help. In this video, I'm going to break down several combos and setups that don't use any complicated feints or super jump cancels, so that you can learn how to play cviper on a foundational level. And once you've mastered everything here, you'll be able to start adding the more difficult stuff to your arsenal. So my first few sessions of ranked with cviper were pretty messy. I was able to get her to master rank, but I felt that I was losing a lot, and oftentimes I was just losing to stuff that I shouldn't have been losing to. It just felt like I really didn't have a good handle on her at all, and I was just too focused on trying to hit all the crazy stuff. And that led me to write a script for this tutorial video, with the goal of simplifying her game plan so that I'm not focused on all the crazy execution stuff, and I'm more just focused on her fundamentals. But of course, I can't put together a video like this without having tried the tech that I came up with. So after I wrote the script, I went into training mode and practiced all these setups for a while, and then I jumped back into ranked mode just to see how I'd do if I strictly followed the game plan that I wrote out. And within about an hour and a half, I went from 1485 MR to like 1618 MR. So a high master cviper now, which is really good. And obviously this simplified game plan, these fundamentals, they're not meant to be used at the highest of level in terms of like, you're not going to be beating Daigo and Punk with this game plan really. But as far as like getting started, I feel like this is a really good game plan to just get a good feel for how to play her, get a handle on how to move her around the screen, and develop the fundamentals that you need so that eventually you can start adding in all the seismo feints and the crazy feint cancels and all that good stuff. We're going to start with a bread and butter combo here that starts with medium buttons. Standing medium punch into crouching medium punch into quarter circle back plus kick, basically cviper's focus attack move. This combo uses no drive gauge at all, or no super meter. It deals 2000 damage, it hits on both standing and crouching opponents, and it gives you some pretty decent Oki afterward, where you're at +3 frame advantage if you dash forward right after the knockdown. And that works even on their back roll. So recovery in place or back roll, it works exactly the same. And this gives you some pretty good options after that forward dash. At +3, you can dash in and hit a meaty throw, which will beat out jabs or any reversal buttons they're trying to hit on wake up. You can also hit crouching medium punch for some more pressure, and this will beat any 4-frame normals that the opponent tries to hit when they're getting up. And if they do challenge with a normal of their own and they get counter hit, you can actually combo into crouching medium punch again and extend the combo and, you know, get a nice confirm there. There are other combo enders that you can use from the standing medium punch, crouching medium punch link there, but I found that this one was probably the best one meterless just because of the advantage you get. It does the most damage out of the meterless versions of her special moves, and if you're not trying to extend the combo at all with any drive gauge, then this is probably your best bet or one of your best options meterless. Combo 2 is a simple light confirm combo, and with it we end off with standing light kick into medium punch thunder knuckle. This does 1280 damage, hits both standing and crouching opponents, And it's a quick combo that you can confirm into when you're pressuring the opponent with your light buttons that leaves you +1 on hit. So if you land this combo successfully, right after you can hit either a standing or a crouching jab, and that will check any 4-frame normals that the opponent tries to use if they're trying to take their turn back. And if you go for the standing or crouching jab right after this combo hits, you'll also beat out any regular throw attempts that the opponent might try because of that +1 frame advantage. Now the cool thing about this simple combo is that if you keep checking the opponent after the combo hits and they keep getting hit with counter hits on that jab, it can lead to them clamming up and not wanting to hit buttons in that situation, which then leaves them open to a regular throw. And after you've conditioned them to go for throw tech there, you can go for burn kick right after the combo and hit the punish counter instead. So it gives you a nice little revolving door of pressure and mind games that's really easy to do and is basically a very simple bread and butter option for cviper. Oh, and if you happen to drop this combo, medium punch thunder knuckle is -3 on block, which means it is also safe. So if you do happen to drop it and the opponent blocks the thunder knuckle, you can still block any attacks that they might try to return with, or you can tech a throw or jump away from a throw if they try to go for that. Now combo 3 is a meterless bread and butter that starts with heavy punch, crouching heavy punch to be precise. And this combo is interesting because it is a simplified version of her bread and butter that uses a super jump cancel. But if we're not using any super jump cancels here, you can go for this option instead. And it's a bit easier to manage when you're actually in the middle of a match. This combo does 2,220 damage, hits standing and crouching opponents. It's meant to be used more as a bigger punish when you get the opportunity, from something like a jump-in attack, or if the opponent throws out an unsafe move and you block it, and it works best when you're up close, but can still work from a little bit further out. But on that note, if you are too far out, the heavy punch thunder knuckle can actually whiff, so you want to be very careful with where you're at when you're trying to do this combo. Some of the benefits of this combo include the ability to extend it using cviper's follow-up to her heavy punch thunder knuckle. That'll give you 2,570 damage at the cost of 1 drive gauge bar. You can also omit the heavy punch thunder knuckle entirely and juggle straight into any one of cviper's supers after the light punch seismo. So this gives you a pretty easy confirm into super, whether you're going for the level 1 super to get that install buff, or you want to go for level 3 for the big damage. But going back to that heavy punch thunder knuckle ender, you can actually forward dash right after and be at 0 frame advantage, which means you can close the gap safely, but you're not necessarily at advantage. So unless you're trying to set up like a trade combo or something here, or you're just confident that your opponent's not going to hit buttons on wake up, you probably want to opt for something else. That something else could be drive rush crouching medium kick, which you're set up for perfectly here. And this raw drive rush setup actually works on both recover in place and back roll. So no matter what recovery they go for, you can still use this setup and tag them. And if they try to challenge with a wake up button, you can counter hit them with that crouching medium kick, so long as your timing is right. But there is a caveat to this combo in that there is a more consistent version of it, but it does require a super jump cancel, and we will learn how to do that super jump cancel in this video because it's really not the hardest thing in the world, and it is worth learning because it just adds so much more to cviper's toolkit. Now this combo is a basic 2-bar bread and butter that ends with an overdrive thunder knuckle. It does 2,480 damage. And the whole point of this combo is basically something simple to use if you really aren't comfortable with the super jump cancel stuff. Some of its perks are it can combo straight into level 2 or level 3 for really solid damage, and it's a very easy confirm because the animation on OD Thunder Knuckle is so long. It also gives you pretty good corner carry, and it leaves cviper very advantageous after the knockdown, so you can forward dash and immediately do a light burn kick right after, and this will beat out any 4-frame normals on wake up that the opponent might try to go for. And of course, if they block that burn kick, you can extend that with the forward +2 kicks follow up, and at the cost of 1 additional drive gauge bar, you'll be able to keep your turn with that +2 frame advantage. Just be careful because that follow-up and that burn kick are very susceptible to drive impact, and people are starting to catch on to that, so they will try to drive impact you. Another alternative to the standard 2-bar OD combo is going straight into OD Seismo instead of OD Thunder Knuckle. You can basically just do the OD Seismo, wait it out, and then heavy punch Thunder Knuckle to end it out. It does do slightly more damage than the OD Thunder Knuckle, but if you're spaced too far back when you're doing it, that heavy punch Thunder Knuckle could whiff. And this combo is a little bit more vulnerable to that because you're using 2 medium buttons to start, which gives you more pushback. But if you want a better option than both of those combos, you can go for the simple super jump cancel, which we're going to cover in this next section here. This is what I call the gateway super jump cancel. This honestly has to be cviper's most basic super jump cancel, and it's probably the one that's used the most throughout any given match. It works like this. After doing any version of Seismo that makes contact with the opponent, you can input a burn kick, super jump cancel it, and it'll cancel right out of the animation of the Seismo, go straight into the burn kick, and leave room for additional combo extensions which lead to more damage, better positioning, and all that good stuff. So in Street Fighter 6, Capcom actually changed the special move input for burn kick from what it used to be back in Street Fighter 4. It used to be quarter circle back and kick, but now it's quarter circle forward and kick, which actually makes this super jump cancel even easier. All you have to do to get this super jump cancel done is input the DP motion of your Seismo, go back to the down input, and then do what's called the Tiger Knee input, which is basically a quarter circle forward motion that extends and ends on up forward, and then input your kick. If you do this Tiger Knee motion right as cviper's hands are hitting the ground for the Seismo, she'll cancel out of it and go straight into her burn kick, which will extend the juggle, and then you can close out with a heavy punch Thunder Knuckle for more damage. When I do the super jump cancel, I actually like to end on the up input, just because I feel like it gives me the proper timing to actually get the super jump out correctly. If you look at the top right corner here at the controller input, you can see exactly how I'm doing it. It's really not that difficult to do, but just know that you will drop this input when you're in the middle of an actual match because it just happens. So don't beat yourself up too much if that does happen, because it happens to everybody. It is also worth noting that because this is a super jump cancel and because this is Street Fighter 6, it does consume 1 bar of drive gauge. But if you do a basic combo using this super jump cancel burn kick, you do get like just a little bit under half of a drive gauge bar back, so the cost is usually worth it, assuming you're not going to put yourself into burnout by doing it. Now I know I said that this video was how to play cviper without any super jump cancels or feints, but this one is so close to being just a follow-up input for a special move that you really should learn how to do it, and it doesn't take a lot of brain power to do it in the middle of a match either. And adding this to your cviper toolkit is going to go a long way for you even when you're barely starting out. Now let's look at some examples of how combos 3 and 4 can be extended by using this gateway super jump cancel burn kick. cviper in Street Fighter 6 is one of the characters that can get a pretty darn solid combo off of a drive rush overhead, and landing a raw drive rush overhead with cviper leaves her at +6 frame advantage, which means she can combo crouching medium punch afterward. So when it comes to the question of what's the optimal combo to get off of this overhead, essentially you can choose whatever works off of crouching medium punch. It just depends on what you're trying to go for during that point in the match. But since we haven't covered this option yet, I'm going to end this combo with light burn kick. The thing about light burn kick is that it does less damage than some of her other meterless special moves, but it does give some good corner carry, and you have some pretty solid advantage after the knockdown. That being said, the better option is to use the light burn kick follow-up by pressing forward in 2 punches, which not only gives you more damage than all of the Thunder Knuckle follow-ups you could be doing in this situation, but it also leaves you at +2 frame advantage if you forward dash right after, and that gives you some really good options for continued pressure on your opponent's wake up. In this case, any of cviper's light attacks except for standing light kick give you +6 or +7 on counter hit, meaning that if your opponent tried to challenge with a button on wake up, you can counter hit them and then combo directly into crouching medium punch and get some bigger damage. And if you really want to get squirrely with it, you can set up a trade with crouching medium punch instead and do some stuff like this. But when it comes to raw drive rush overhead, just pick the best option that comes from crouching medium punch based on what you're trying to do in the match. What goes up must come down, so now let's talk about raw drive rush low. cviper's best option here is raw drive rush crouching medium kick. When it lands, you can combo straight into crouching heavy punch, which then leads into the fitness, whatever that may be. You can go from crouching heavy punch into light seismo to juggle the opponent, go into cviper's focus attack for some damage and better Oki. It just depends on what you really want to do. In most cases, when I'm just going for quick damage, I'll go for the drive rush crouching medium kick, and then go straight into combo 3 with the super jump cancelled burn kick just to get as much damage as I can without spending too much meter. But you can also take that crouching heavy punch and extend it with a drive rush cancel and do something like this. And speaking of drive rush cancels, cviper's crouching medium kick is not drive rush cancelable in Street Fighter 6, which means her best drive rush cancelable normals are crouching medium punch and crouching heavy punch. Once you hit your drive rush cancel from either of these normals, your best simplified option is to go for standing medium punch into crouching heavy punch. From here, you're basically going right into combo 3, except you don't really have to worry about any of the drawbacks of not spacing it properly because that drive rush cancel gets you close enough and in the proper range pretty much every time. But if you're comfortable with some slightly tighter execution, but still don't want to do the super jump cancel, you can go for forward heavy kick into standing medium punch into crouching medium punch instead, which basically ends like combo number 1 and gives you some pretty solid damage. Hate them or love them, cviper does have throw loops in Street Fighter 6. Now you do have to manually time her throw loops, which means there is room for error here, but it's ultimately not that difficult to do. After a forward throw in the corner, you can walk up to your opponent and hit another throw, and if you time it properly, it'll beat any normal attack that the opponent tries to go for on their wake up and put them right back into the throw loop. Alternatively, if you forward dash after that forward throw in the corner, cviper is actually at +7 frame advantage, so you can set up some meaty normal attacks like standing medium punch or crouching medium punch and potentially score yourself some really good damage. We've covered bread and butter combos, we've covered what to do on your opponent's wake up, we've covered drive rush overhead, drive rush low, and drive rush cancel, and we've also covered throw loops. Now we need to cover another one of Street Fighter 6's most common situations, stun. The following is a very solid, hard-hitting stun combo that uses level 3 super and doesn't use any super jump cancels. Once you hit your drive impact into the stun, make sure to walk forward for a few steps to replenish your drive gauge a little bit, and then go into cviper's fully charged OD focus attack. Charging this move all the way and then letting it rip will leave the opponent in a crumpled state where they're technically considered airborne. The trick to this combo here is that you want to delay slightly after that crumple before hitting that crouching heavy punch, because it'll juggle the opponent slightly higher and leave them at the perfect height to hit the medium punch thunder knuckle at the end to then convert into the level 3 super. Alternatively, you can add in that gateway super jump cancel burn kick, and doing so will net you an extra 360 damage. And that concludes my simplified, foundational cviper game plan in Street Fighter 6. But there is one more very important thing that you don't necessarily need to use, but I highly recommend that you learn it right away. And that is the raw Seismo feint. This is another one of her high-level techniques that is probably the easiest version of itself, where all you have to do is go for that Seismo ground pound, and then hit a kick button during the animation to cancel out of it. I don't recommend trying to use this stuff in combos or anything like that, but where it's crucial is in neutral, because if you're using Seismo as an anti-fireball tool in neutral or just to pressure the opponent, using the feint to fake them out is so effective. More often than not, when you're playing the neutral game, you're going to find that opponents start jumping right away after getting hit with a couple of Seismos. So being able to feint out of it to bait them into that jump and then use Heavy Punch Thunder Knuckle to anti-air them is a really effective strategy, and it's really not that difficult to do. Again, it's kind of the gateway cancel, and I highly recommend you learn it. So that's my simplified cviper game plan for you. Like I had mentioned before, I went into ranked mode myself and used strictly what I showed you here today, and within an hour and a half I earned over 100 MR. It ended up being really effective for me, and it solved the main problem that I had where I was focusing way too much on trying to hit all the crazy execution stuff. Sticking to just this game plan really helped me focus on just getting comfortable playing cviper, and now that I feel a lot better about using her in actual matches, I'm slowly starting to introduce some of the more complicated stuff, like her Fierce Feint Fierce, so that I can get the most out of her damage and her situations. But hey, I hope this tutorial helped you out, and if it did, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment and let me know if it worked for you. Thank you so much for watching.
Focus,